I'm going to be showing you guys the strategy I used to study and pass the Nclex RN within 2 weeks. I like to call this the lazy genius strategy, and the idea behind this is to study smart, not hard. Guys, I passed the Nclex RN in 2022. I studied for 2 weeks, actually 10 days, but I have a story time video about that anyway. I'm going to link it up there so you can watch it. But I studied for a very short time, and that was because I had a very short time to study and pass this exam. So I'm going to be sharing the formula or strategy I use. Now, there are a lot of study materials out there when you decide you want to take the Nclex RN, and it can be confusing. But for me, I'll say stick with just one. So ideally, you only need one textbook to study content and one question bank for practice. So the textbook I used for content and the one that I recommend is the Saunders textbook. Now, it doesn't matter what edition you use because this is the 6th edition. That is what I use. There are newer editions now, but I'll say the difference is actually not much. So even if you have the 6th edition or you have like the 9th edition, it doesn't matter. The most important thing is to understand the concept and then apply those concepts when you take your exam. Now let's go to the first strategy. Now the first thing I'm going to advise you to do is to look at the contents. So when you open the Saunders textbook for the first time, this textbook is very big, guys. It can be like overwhelming, but trust me, you don't have to read everything, and that is what I'm going to be showing you in this video. This textbook is divided into different parts according to a different system to make it easy for you to study the book. But I'll say don't even waste your time studying the whole book unless if you have like 1 year to prepare for the Nclex RN. And if you are watching this video, I want to assume that you don't have that time. You only have like a short time to actually study, pass the exam, and have your license. Now back to my first tip. Let's not digress too much. Look at the content, and then you'll see that there are some parts that you are already familiar with. Let's say that when you were a student, you were very good in like pharmacology, or you were very good in pediatrics. For me, I liked maternity. Like, I really love maternity. Look for those parts that you know you are not struggling with and then skip them. I'm not saying skip it completely, like don't even go through it, but leave it for last. We're going to start with the most difficult aspect. If you think that you are not really good in growth and development across the lifespan, then you start reading from this growth and development. But for me, what I did and what I'm going to advise you to do is start with fundamental skills. The Nclex RN exam is just to test your basic knowledge as a nurse. They want to see if you can practice as a nurse and deliver care in a safe manner. Most of the questions are going to come from this fundamental part. Start with fundamentals, guys. After reading fundamentals, and then go to the next most difficult part for you, and then just work your way down. Now, like I said before, you don't need to read every single part of this book, and that will bring me to my next point. The next point is to skim, guys. I'm going to show you guys exactly how I did this. If you say you want to read every part of this book, it will take you ages, trust me. The skill you need to learn is to skim and underline the parts that jumps at you. You know, when you are reading, at times there are some parts that just come to you and you feel like, this is very good to know for exam, right? So you want to like underline those parts. Like if you see, for example, here, I'm not really going to read it so that this video will not be too long, but you see that this whole box has a lot of information here. What I just wanted to pick out from here is this underlined part. This is the part that I feel like, oh, this is something I need to know for the Nclex RN. You know what? In fact, I'm going to read it. It said clients' needs that are life-threatening or that could result in harm to the client if they are left untreated are high priority. Non-emergency and non-life-threatening client needs are intermediate needs. This is like everything you need to know about prioritizing, actually. For you to answer questions that have to do with prioritizing, this is just what you need to know. You just need to know that, oh, anything that is life-threatening or that could result in harm if they are left untreated are the high priorities. Now, this is what I mean by when I say skim and underline the parts that are important for you to know. Now, the next point I'm going to tell you is to pay attention to the highlighted boxes and pyramid points. Now, if you see all through this book, this is a highlighted box, this is a highlighted box, this is a pyramid point, that is another pyramid point there. So these pyramid points are something that is just letting you know that, oh, this part is very important for you to know during the exam. So what I want you to do is forget about all these white parts, right? Unless if it really jumps at you when you are skimming and then you underline it. But pay extra care when you are reading these highlighted boxes. Make notes, guys. In fact, if you are preparing for the Nclex RN and you don't have your own notes, you've not even started because you are going to forget most of the things that you are reading. So for you to actually remember, have a separate notebook that you are jotting down your underlined points, so that whenever you want to like refresh your memory, or maybe it's something that you're trying to remember and you know you've read it, you've seen it somewhere, but you just can't remember it, it's handy for you to like go to your notes and see it instead of going back to this textbook and start searching for that thing that you're looking for. Pay attention to the highlighted boxes and the pyramid points and you will not go wrong there. Now moving on to my next point is to use your imagination when you are reading. Try to picture out the scenario, try to picture out what is going on, like this is disease condition, think of the pathophysiology, like make it sound like a movie in your head, and then it will be hard for you to forget it. So I'm going to show you guys what I'm talking about, right? Apart from using your imagination, don't be afraid to interpret what you are reading and write it down in your own words, in the language that you are going to understand. Let's take for example diabetes insipidus. Now this is like the notes that I actually made when I was preparing for Nclex. If you see this textbook as a whole, it's filled with notes and underlined words and everything. So guys, let me just say here that this book is not for sale. I am not selling this book. This book was a gift, guys, and I'm not ready to part with it, okay? Let's go back to diabetes insipidus. If you read through everything here, the summary of it all is that the body is passing out too much water from the body. That is it. That is it. That is the whole thing. You see this long thing here? That is just the idea. When you're able to like visualize this, the signs and symptoms, the management, everything starts making sense. You're able to like dot your I's and cross your T's without actually reading the entire story. Now let's look at another example. This is SIADH, that is syndrome of inappropriate antidiuretic hormone secretion. Now what does this mean? If you read this whole thing here, everything can be summarized into saying that the body is not passing out enough water from the body. That is it. That is it, guys. In fact, I can't even tell you how this thing helped me. Okay, let's look at another example. Now, this is difference between Addison's disease and Cushing's disease. They actually like asking this question a lot. Now, you see that I have underlined some things here, but it can also be summarized. Under Addison's disease, everything goes down except potassium and calcium. In Cushing's disease, everything is over-secreted except potassium and calcium. So this is like the opposite of each other. When you read this way, you try to like summarize everything, you try to like group everything together and just make a few notes just to remind yourself, oh, this is what this is all about, this is what that is all about. It will be easy for you to like understand, grasp the concept and move on to the next topic. Otherwise, you are going to spend forever and ever trying to read this whole thing and cram this whole thing when you have a very short time to actually read and pass the Nclex exam. And you can see that this book, I've actually underlined a lot of things out of it. Like, look at another example, hypoparathyroidism. There is low calcium and there is high phosphate. When you talk of hyperparathyroidism, there is high calcium and there is low phosphate. Another thing I'm going to say, guys, is that when you are reading, try to like group different disease conditions, like similar disease conditions. Try to read all of them together. That way you are able to like remember that, oh, I read this, I read that, this is similar, and then if this sign and symptom is present in this disease condition, there is a 50% chance that this sign and symptom is going to be present in this other disease condition. That way you save a lot of time. Now moving on to the next tip that I'm going to tell you is to listen to a lot of audio messages, especially when you are busy, because guys, let's face it, if you are actually planning to study for the Nclex and pass within a short period of time, I'm going to assume that you are very busy with other activities in your life. Maybe you are a mom, you have a full-time job, or something is going on in your life that is making you not to have the time to dedicate a long period of time for study. So listen to audio materials, like when you are driving to work, or you are preparing food, or you are taking care of your baby. Listen to those materials. You will find a lot of audio materials on YouTube, Spotify. There are people that are on YouTube that just teach about Nclex. If you look out for those people, you are going to see some, like Simple Nursing. I can't really remember a lot of them anymore, but I know that I used to listen to a lot of audio materials then when I was preparing for Nclex, because let's face it, I had a 5-month-old baby at that time. I was really busy with a lot of things. I didn't have the time actually to study. So those audio materials, maybe when I'm feeding my baby, when I'm driving, when I'm cleaning the house, I have Nclex in my ears all the time. I think Nclex now is no longer free. I think they've removed most of his audios online, so you have to like pay or something. Well, I'm not really sure anymore. I've tried to like search for some Nclex audios recently and I can't really find a lot of them anymore, so I'm thinking probably they were removed from the internet or something. I don't know. But apart from Nclex, there are also other good tutors that they have materials online that you can actually listen to free of charge. Now this is like a quick summary about the content. Now we've only covered one part, which is studying for content. Remember guys that it's better for you to study content first before you start doing practice questions. The next video I'm going to upload in this series is going to be about the practice test. Now again, there are a lot of apps out there. There are a lot of materials that you can use to practice for the Nclex RN, but I'm going to be telling you guys the one I recommend and the one I use. I'm also going to show you guys how I use it, the percentages of questions I answered, how many I got right, how many I got wrong, and my final assessment. Now most of these apps actually have like a readiness assessment part that is going to assess your chances of passing the Nclex, so keep an eye out for that video. So if you watch this video to this point and you liked this video, please don't forget to give me a thumbs up and share this video to as many people as you think would benefit from it, so that YouTube can recommend this video to other people as well. And don't forget to subscribe to my channel guys. If this is the first time seeing my face, hello, my name is Scholastica. I'm a Nigerian trained nurse. I'm currently registered as a nurse in the UK and the US, and on this channel I talk about nursing, travel, immigration, how to settle abroad, and guys, I have individual playlists for these sessions. You can also go through my contents and watch some of my videos, and I'm sure you will learn a thing or two. Now until next time, stay fabulous. I love you. Bye.